I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. After the first 3 Friday the 13th movies,
we were down bad.
I decided to watch all of the Friday the 13th movies for pretty much the first time for our first slasher summer. Now, I won't say everything I said in the last video because I kind of covered the things that I don't like. Pretty much the story, the characters, the writing, all of that stuff can go to hell. The kills have been pretty good, and the Jasons that we've seen have also been really great. But each movie has been mediocre at best. We needed a great movie. And then there was the final chapter. Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter. This is the best one yet, guys. Is this movie a masterpiece? No. But is this the best Friday the 13th I've seen yet? Yes. This movie actually attempts a story and tries to build characters. So after the global success of Friday the 13th Part 3, Paramount Pictures was like,
holy fucking shit, we need to make another one of these movies.
And, well, they decided to make the final chapter, made to be the final film in the franchise. It wasn't. So after Part 3, Steve Miner says, to hell with it, I'm out of here. And Joseph Zito hops in to direct this movie. We get Friday the 13th Part 4.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Coming out in 1984. So I really like the way this movie opens up. It starts exactly after the third movie where Jason's still dead in the barn and the cops are kind of cleaning, the remains of what just happened. Paramedics are there and it's just a totally grisly sight. I mean, a bunch of teenagers just died. There's bodies everywhere. And yeah, it's really fucked up. And it's a great opening to this movie. It sets the stage.
This time you got 7 kids and 3 bikers. This time they got him.
When I saw this opening scene of, the cops coming and taking Jason's body to the morgue, I was really excited until we met this motherfucker, Axel.
Meet me in the cold room. I'm closing up for the night. What do you say?
But why?
Axel is a nurse or a medical professional of some sorts at the hospital, and is just a fucking jagoff.
Real cute girl.
Was.
Well, she still is. All you gotta do is go over there, take off your
Nice talk.
And he's totally hitting on another nurse. You would think she's not really feeling it. You would think that, they don't really have a connection because, hey, they're supposed to be professionals, right? Yeah, no fucking way. She likes him, actually. Well, anyways, Axel is watching a video of girls shaking their ass on screen.
All right, girls. Thanks for waiting.
Get some help.
Well, Jason takes both of their lives very easily. This Jason, played by Ted White, he's not my favorite Jason. I still like Richard Brooker a little bit more in the last movie. I think Ted White's Jason is the most demon Jason I've seen yet. This guy is just out for blood, and his nails, they show his nails a lot in this movie. They're all black and dirty, and you can tell he's not really a human anymore, and I liked that a lot. It was very scary. And these kills, like when Axel gets it, top notch, the best kills out of any Friday the 13th movie yet. And you wanna know why? Tom Savini's back. Hell yeah, he is. He was like, all right, I'll come back for the final movie in the franchise, and I'll do it, because yeah, he's literally the best. And his kills are purely amazing. Film transitions back to Crystal Lake, where we meet the Jarvises. Mrs. Jarvis is the mom character. We got Trish as the sister. And then of course we have little Tommy, played by Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman really blew the, donkey.
Well, they're living in the middle of the sticks. They're gonna be having some company when some teens are coming up to stay in the house right next to theirs. Jimmy, played by Crispin Glover. He is an awkward young man. His best friend, Ted.
I'm walking here. You got a problem with that skateboard, boy?
Ted keeps calling Jimmy a dead fuck.
It says you're a dead fuck.
Next up we got Tina. She is kind of set up to be the final girl, not really, because she doesn't have a lot of character work, so you don't really ever expect her to survive. But she does have all the tropes and all the things that we expect a final girl to have. Next up we have Doug. I thought Doug was played by Rob Lowe.
What are your fave low-carb options on a crazy busy day? Well, I could eat the ass every day.
Doug doesn't really do much. Doug is just kind of horny for Tina, and that's kind of all the work that we get with him. Paul and Samantha, they're an item, they're going strong together, but that's going to be tested. So the teens are heading up to Crystal Lake to spend the weekend together, to have some fun.
Hell yeah, why not?
Anyways, they're driving and they pass by a hitchhiker who has a sign. Yeah, they drive right past her.
Hey, honey, you got a sister?
And then on the back of her sign, it says, fuck you. She knew, she expected that people were going to be driving by, which, you know, it's safe to assume that. And who the hell picks up a hitchhiker? She goes to sit right back down, you know, probably down in her dumps, kind of just like,
Fuck this shit. Fuck those guys.
and then Jason comes up right behind her and sticks a knife right into her neck. It's a really good kill. When our crazy party animals show up, hell yeah, they're gonna be drinking beer, smoking weed all weekend long. It's gonna be great for the Jarvises, right? Like I've been saying, there's been some contenders for the horniest movie character ever. And I can't even just give one character that nomination in this one. They're all super horny. They all just want to fuck all the time. Then we see Tommy laying in bed at night, checking out Samantha and Paul totally going at it. Mrs. Jarvis comes in, tucks little Tommy back into bed, shuts the window, pretty much says, go to fucking sleep, you little horny bastard. So the next day, the teens are going skinny dipping. Problem is, Jimmy and Ted don't have dates, while everyone else does. But lucky enough, two twins show up ready to have a good time. And guess what? They're kind of into the nerds.
Count 'em. 1, 2.
As everyone is jumping in, you know, everyone's getting butt-ass naked, jumping into the water. The twins are encouraging the boys to come in.
Oh, no. No, we have no suits.
You are a fucking moron.
Well, Tommy gets a little sneak peek at the X-rated show again and sees everyone in the water. So as Trish and Tommy are going back home, their car breaks down. Because, yeah, it's a Friday the 13th movie, and your car is going to break down.
Dude, this car's ass.
Man shows up and fixes their problem very easily. You gotta tell that Trish is feeling it, and Tommy is enthralled with the guy. He just wants to show him everything in his room. So as they get back to the house, Tommy's showing all of his cool monster memorabilia and all the masks and everything that he's made. And Tommy's actually a young savant, it looks like. He has a real skill.
Holy shit.
So we're about 40 minutes into this movie. And this next section I like to call the party sequence. And everyone's trying to score, right? Everyone's coupled up. It seems like it's gonna be a good time. It's not so much that way though. There's Samantha and Paul, right? They're together. He's kind of feeling one of the twins right now. He's kind of like,
Holy shit. I might be able to score with her.
so he tries that.
You don't mind, do you?
Well, Ted totally fumbled the bag with this girl. She seemed into him.
Teddy, I've got to get another drink.
I do something wrong?
And even at the same time, Jimmy is with sister, and she really actually likes him, even after Jimmy gives, you know, the most awkward dance I've ever seen in my life. And then he straight up just calls her ugly.
Besides, you've got the hot one of the two of them.
Samantha's like, fuck this, I'm going outside to go swim. I don't fucking know. She gets butt-ass naked and swims out to a little boat in the middle of the water. And yeah, Jason comes out of the water and fucks her up with a really cool kill underneath the boat. Meanwhile, back in the house, he's like,
Oh shit, I don't want to be a two-timing son of a bitch.
so he goes back outside to try to reconcile with Samantha, swims out to where she was at and sees that she's literally dead. Tries to get out of there and gets hit in the crotch.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
I think it's like a harpoon Jason hits him with, and it is fucked. We transition back to Rob, who's camping out on Crystal Lake, where he sees someone going through his tent and shit and starts having some paranoia. Transition back to the teens' place, and yeah, Jimmy's actually gonna be scoring with not the first girl he was with, but actually Ted's girl.
It should have been me, not him. It's not fair.
So Ted's downstairs with his twin, and he's stoned as fuck, just watching some old movies. She's totally not into him at this point. Ted's night is just an utter failure. So Jimmy and his girl are hooking up when her sister comes upstairs to be like, hey, we need to go.
Gotta go.
So as the one twin's walking out of the house, we have a really, really cool kill where we see Jason light up from the lightning and stick a spear or a pitchfork in the back of her, and then he slams her ass right into the house. I was like, holy shit, Jason had a vendetta against this chick. And then Mrs. Jarvis gets killed off screen. But as Trish and Tommy get back to the house, Trish understands that something isn't right. Her mom isn't calling back out to her. The house is dark, and she does a little exploring. She goes down to Rob's campsite. She's hiding in there. Rob comes in. He's like,
What the fuck are you doing here?
What the hell are you doing here?
Jimmy and Ted are reminiscing about the night. Meanwhile, Jimmy's girl is literally getting chucked out of the house by Jason.
Get over here.
So Rob tells Trish some exposition about Jason Voorhees and his legend, explaining that Rob's sister was killed at Camp Crystal Lake. Apparently his sister was Sandra, I believe, in the second movie. So as Ted is, stoned as shit, just watching some movies by himself now, just having a good time, to be honest, he gets brutally murdered by Jason. He comes from behind the projector screen and gets him with a knife. Transition back up to Tina and Doug totally going at it in the shower. So after Doug totally scores, he's having a little victory celebration in the shower by himself, and Jason gives him a visit. Jason literally sticks out his hand and caves his skull in. Really badass kill. Like, up to this point, I've just thought the kills have been phenomenal. And I'm gonna keep praising Tom Savini any chance I get, because I think the guy's a literal genius, and his kills in this movie just prove that even more. So Tina sees her man dead in the shower and tries to make a run for it, but that only gets her an axe right to the chest, which takes her life.
Oh, this is so embarrassing.
So in the last little leg of this movie, Tommy, Rob, and Trish sticking together. So Rob and Trish return back to the house, tell Tommy what's going down, and they try to call for help. Nothing's working, everything's messed up, and they seem to be out of luck. So Rob and Trish go over to the teens' place to see what's going down. They're at the house, right? While Tommy is, doing his studies for Jason 101. They see all the dead teens' bodies in the house.
Oh my God!
I totally forgot to mention that Jimmy got fucking murdered after he hooked up with his girl. He goes downstairs, like I said, talking to Ted and all that shit, and he goes into the kitchen asking for a corkscrew, for some wine, because they're really trying to celebrate here. He's bitching about some corkscrew, and Jason comes up right behind him and slashes his shit to death. But anyways, back to the point where we were at. They're checking the house out. They've just seen all the dead teens. It's a total nightmare in this place. Before they can escape, Rob gets into it with Jason, and they have a little battle.
Avenge me! Bruh.
So then we have the famous chase sequence when Trish makes it back to her place with Tommy in there. They've tried to lock everything up, but of course Jason's an absolute unit and gets through with no problem. Comes in, they start running around the house. So Trish and Tommy are locked in the room together, and Jason's trying to break in, right? Well, Trish has a pretty deep bag, it seems like, and she knows what to do in a situation like this. She takes the TV and smashes it over Jason's head. They walk out to Jason's body laying there, trying to step over it. Which, in any horror movie, that's not a good choice. That's the wrong decision to do. Well, Tommy's able to kind of get away while Trish distracts Jason and she jumps out of the house. This gives Tommy the ample amount of time to shave his head and pretend like he's young Jason.
I like it, cut G.
I don't know why he thought this would work. I know, like I just said, he's been studying up on Jason, but this trick hasn't been used in the other films. But in the second movie, Ginny was able to put on Mrs. Voorhees, face, and Jason fell for it, so it's a good attempt. Trish is battling out with Jason now. She slices off one of his fingers, but he gets the best of her and pins her on the ground. Tommy comes downstairs and starts yelling out his name. This makes Jason stand up and look at Tommy like a total dumbass. Well, Tommy's plan works because Trish gets up with the machete and sticks it into Jason's face, where we have another really cool practical effect. As Jason moves his finger one last time, Tommy doesn't double tap him, but taps him like 50 fucking million times with the machete just to make sure this piece of shit is really dead.
He's already dead.
We then have the conclusion scene at the end of the movie that these movies always do. It's going to be the final girl, in a hospital or in the back of a cop car, either talking about what just happened or, reminiscing about the events. She's asking to see Tommy, and they let him come in. They give each other a nice old hug, and then we see Tommy open his eyes like he's going to be the next Jason or something. I didn't love this ending because this is supposed to be the final movie, right? I know there's other movies, but if this was actually supposed to be the final movie, why would you, leave it off with some loose Tommy plotline like he's going to become the next Jason? And I'm not saying there can be some things that are left up to the imagination, but something like that, it's kind of like, oh shit, is like he's Jason now, so he's running around Crystal Lake just murdering people? Or he could go the other way and say, no, he's just a good kid. Alright, fuck what I just said. The movie's over. And what I think about it. Well, like I said in the beginning, I thought this movie was okay. I thought it was better than the 3 other ones I saw. I thought the story was a lot better. I thought the characters were a lot better. I thought the kills were a lot cooler. I think the director, Joseph Zito, he brought a little bit more flavor to this movie maybe. There's some really cool POV shots that we have, more interesting camera angles. Like I said, with the lightning kill, that was really cool. And just the tone of this movie, when Jason's on screen, when the kills are going down, it feels very angry. It feels very serious too, which I appreciate. So at this point in the franchise, we're in 1984. It took them 4 films, but I think they kind of just cracked at the formula how to do these movies. I don't really know how they go on after this. Hopefully they keep using the same kind of formula and just add to it. But for Slasher Summer, I think it's been restored. I am excited to watch the rest of these movies and see what goes down. I'm interested in the story again. I want to see how they bring back Jason. I want to see what characters we get next. If you guys like this one, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew?
You need to shut the fuck up.